Okay, so the find of the day, or at least that excursion. So this one here then, I suspected it was a brown roll round, but it's called a roll rim, a brown roll rim. Now I've gone and lost the page for that one. Let me just, before I speak about those then, I'll speak about the field mushrooms. Now the thing is about the field mushrooms, you know, you've got lots of different varieties which look very similar and smell very similar. But with the field mushrooms, the agaricus, as long as they have brown gills, then as far as I'm aware, they're not deadly. But this yellow staining one, this will make some people ill, but again it isn't deadly. And so, you know, there's such similar creatures that it's very difficult, and they all seem to, or said to, smell like aniseed. But so this one here, to cut them open is always you know, good, because you see the depth of the gill, the colour of the gill, and you see if the flesh discolours. That one hasn't, and so we can see that at the stipe they're not joined, they are free, and so that's very interesting as far as that's concerned. And that's the same one, that's free, you can see that's free on the gill. This one, it seems to have a very slight tint of pink. I don't know whether you can see that, people. And it's got this like feathering on the cap, and very pale pink, separate gills. They're not joined on the stipe, and they are crowded, and there's a little bit of a pink hue on the base of the stipe. And so I'm going to cut that one again. Now looking in here, we see this one here, Agaricus brassardolianus. Agaricus brassardolianus. It's kind of like feathering a little bit, looking like it's a bit red. It's not that one, the Prince, that one's supposed to be a very tasty one. I've never found any of those. But then looking at this one here, the field mushroom. The field mushroom here seems to have a little bit of pinkiness going on, and it seems to be a little bit feathered. And but you see this one isn't. This one's smooth, but that one's a little bit feathered, that one's a little bit feathered. So could be a horse mushroom. So I'm going to cut that one in half to see if there's any discolouring. And in comparison we can see instantly that there's a different colour here with the gills. This is much more pink, and we have actually got some very slight discolouring pinking coming up from the gills. I'll see if the stipe and the flesh changes colour. And if you notice, it's got this greyness down the edge of the stipe, which is, you know, quite profound. But then that one has it also, you see. It's got the greyness coming down, which is kind of like similar colour to the gills, you know. So if you're looking here at this one, then as I was saying before I cut it open, that this one's a little bit feathered on top, and it's kind of like similar to that one there in the feathering, and a little bit of a hue of a pink or a mauve, but most certainly the gills are very pink, aren't they? And so this one here is a different creature altogether. That one, albeit they're more bottom shape, you see. And I think they have a thicker, more robust stipe, and they get very thick. This is the Agaricus bitorquis. And so this one here, the Agaricus burmadi, it's got blushing in there. Now when we look for that one's this one, that one's a good edible one. And bruising reddish on handling, and so it isn't that one, because there's no reddish bruising on that one at all. And so it's a fascinating journey when we look into the fungi world. I would think it's the field mushroom. Gills deeply pink, even in unopened buttons. So they're deeply pink, domed and remaining so a long time before expanding fully. White, sometimes creamy yellow, or scaly or smooth. So yeah, this one's scaly, so I'm happy really that one's a field mushroom. And these two then, let's just look for the more grey type gill. This one, which is the Agaricus macrosporus, and it's got very grey gills, but this one seems to be pretty robust on the stipe, whereas that one isn't. So let's see what else we've got. This one here. Now this one depicts a line going down the centre of the stipe, and it doesn't depict any decoloration on the outside. So now that line there, that's I think that's a maggot hole. It's not the groove of the mushroom, I don't think. But difficult to tell. Now this one here, the Agaricus excellens. Now we've only got small depiction of those. They're kind of like flesh coloured, pale flesh coloured. And so, well, what would I hedge my bets on? Well, at least, you know, all of these except this one and this one, the Agaricus platinarus, which is this one here, which stains yellow on the stipe at least. So that's poisonous, and this is poisonous. So any of these that stain yellow, they're poisonous. But all the rest of them with the brown gills, they appear to be edible. And so it could be a horse mushroom, but the giveaway with the horse mushroom, if you ever find them unopened, then you can see that they have this like cogging going on with the membrane, and that's very distinctive only on that particular mushroom. Now this one here, they're a bit too bulbous on the stipe, so let me have a look. That's too pink. Agaricus bispora. I don't know, they look like they're pretty stubby on the stipe. And kind of like dirty and got skin on them, you know, on the surface. So, well, I mean, maybe you guys can help me out then. So these ones, the brown roll rim, no problem there. It's kind of an exciting mushroom to find. But you wouldn't eat it. You'd look at it and think, I'm not eating that, because it just doesn't look edible, you know. And what's it smell like? It doesn't smell mushroomy, it just smells a bit fusky, and that's always a good sign, where these smell sweet and aniseedy. Yeah, like a mushroom, an edible mushroom. And so those two varieties there then, with the difference in the colour of the... And you see this one, this one's more crowded on the gill, very, very pink, and this one's more grey, and it's not that crowded, and they've got different lengths of the gill by the look of things. And so, and then this one, just a brief look to see what this one is, at the back here in this wonderful book by Roger Phillips. So we've got this one here, which is Hydenellum, Strobicum. Oh, come on, you can't even say the shit, can you? You know, that's what that one is. And looks a little bit like turkey tail. I found it growing on wood in the ground, and it's a very robust mushroom. You can see the spores there, or the pores, or the gills, how they are like that. And yeah, it's a nice soft thing. What's it smell like? It doesn't smell offensive. So there you have it then, guys and gals, my little find of the morning.